Why wouldn't a family be led by the eldest son? Before I declare council back in session, I'll ask, have the councilors' differences on the one lineage amendment resolved them? Finally, we're back to the one lineage amendment. This was referred to earlier by Mute. I had no idea what it was. That's what I get for skipping ahead. Alright, I understand. And we can proceed. Council is now in session and the floor is open. I'd like to modify my amendment to stipulate that all the provisions are optional, and the member of the family who receives a nobility stipend can be selected arbitrarily by the counselor. The point is that not every family is led by the eldest son. If we are to restrict the nobility stipend to a single branch of the family, it's important that it's not given to the wrong one, as we discussed this morning. Like at length. I don't believe in cutting out families either. So why not just give it directly to counselors then? As the Counselor of Security would say, more subtlety is required. It's better to make it about families than about individual men. So they're saying, why not just make the amendment just about counselors? Counselor families? But that's not very subtle because that keeps power in just those families. So they're going to funnel it in to be more subtle. That isn't something I'd say. Better to make it about families. Man, do you still disapprove of the act, even with Counselor Smith's amendment? Well, I still think this one lineage nonsense is a stupid idea. I don't see any point in prioritizing elder sons in particular, even as a statement, and, like, alienating branch families has absolutely no logic to me. This is going to have all kinds of serious repercussions in the future. They're not going to be on my family, though. You want to hoist yourselves up on your own petards? That's fine by me. I definitely disapprove of the act, but in the capacity of the Counselor of Security, I won't object. That will suffice, then. Are there any counselors that have objections? None that have a chance of carrying? No. Counselor Smith's item is added to the amendment, then, and the debate is closed. How does the council vote? Council of State is in favor. Agriculture's against. Sorry, but I have to tell my family I tried. Against, for the record. Favor, 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 favor. Council of Security is against. Have fun explaining this one to your cousins, boys. It's not on me. The amendment carries. 5 in favor, 3 against. Moving on. It has been strange that so many of these amendments have been unanimous. But it is a nice change of pace to not have party lines. Really nice change of pace. Personally, for me. Okay. Unity Act. This is a bigger one. Spoke like that to Emperor Taijo. Nice! We all know what's on the agenda. I trust we can get through this in a civilized fashion. One hopes. I don't like your tone, Counselor. I didn't. Not you, the Counselor of Captaincy. Please don't derail this, Mute. Your objections to the Unity Act have been thoroughly stated and noted. Your input is appreciated. Your input is appreciated me. Okay? You're not going to shut me up. This is insane. This is, like, actually insane. I don't even know why it's being brought up again. Did you miss the memo? I am security vetoing it. It's not... How the hell do you justify that? It has nothing to do with ship security. Are you kidding? Like, seriously? You honestly haven't considered the idea that removing all restrictions as to who can be president has, massively destabilizing consequences? Please read the record, Counselor. You'll find that an amendment has been added to address security's concerns. The Act very specifically says that it only removes all non-criminal, non-age-related restrictions. There aren't any destabilizing consequences. That doesn't address my concerns at all. I will not budge on this matter, okay? Security veto stands, and, like, I can't believe I actually have to argue why separation of powers is important. On what grounds do you even argue that the security veto would apply here? Really? Possibilities for abuse are endless. It goes against every principle the current system of government was founded on. Can't believe I defend the principles of that awful society like this. Huh. I kind of felt like they might be on the same page as this one, but no, whatever. It's pretty stuck on, like, these are old cannibals. They're all nutso bozos. I don't know. Where was I at? And that's the reason not to do something, Counselor Mute. You'd surely not suggest that those principles are unassailable. How will we ever improve our society if we defend bad ideas simply for the sake of conservatism? Right. I have forgotten to even think about, like, conservatism versus, or I guess tradition versus change. It's kind of a better way of putting it. Okay, well, while you're off fantasizing about improving our society, it's my job to put my foot down on things that can jeopardize the ship's safety. If the act is amended, would you even consider the possibility of rescinding your veto? No. Then please let the record be updated to include a signing document from President Park overriding the security veto. Not this time, Mute. Of course he did. That's cause for alarm in and of itself, don't you see? He wants the ability to run for a second term. If we actually let him stay in the public spotlight for that long, that gets rid of our strongest control against democracy movements. Like, if you think they were getting bad before, can you imagine what they'd be like after 10 years of a single unified charismatic leader with a government platform? 15, 20? Do you really think that would be okay? Jeez, if she'd gotten her way, things would be so different. Except we've completely knocked the wind out of the movement's sails. Well, maybe he is thinking that. It's merely wishful thinking. Great, so now you're just offloading the problem onto me in the future. It's lost momentum now, but what about like a century from now? Our actions here have serious consequences. Doesn't look like you're convincing anyone. Okay. Willing to compromise. I know when I've lost, I'll support the act. Just give me an amendment that ensures a president can't have 2 terms, okay? Hell, even specify that it only applies to non-noble presidents. Just give me something here. I'd be willing to say, I don't think that's necessary. You'll second the motion, Councilor Joe? Sorry, strike my remark from the record. Wow. What? How is that even controversial? I don't see any reason for further debate on the matter. Wow, these guys are going, they're like, we are going to change everything here. We want to just... Whatever Mute was expecting with this subtle thing happening, apparently President Park has gotten somehow into the council. They're not willing to go for small, you know, maybe another way of thinking about this is that the council itself is using this idea of subtle change against Mute now. That instead of making subtle things to maintain the status quo, they're creating subtle rules that create radical change. And yeah, Mute's not going to be a big fan of that. Because radical change means her security is in question. Which is why Mute, as the head of security, as an AI, is most always head on to not have change. Because change is not violent, and change does not... change is violent, and change burns down offices, and she doesn't want that. At its most simple. That's a very simple way of putting it, but yeah. Or at least that's what she's projecting, is that this kind of change will create things. Wow, Mute's super excited all of a sudden. Cool. Motion passes. That is the council vote. Council culture favor. Against 1. Council of Security, I assume. Council of Security abstains. This is the first abstention from a vote of Councilor Mute in the ship's history. Very well. Wow. Just wow. Very well. The act passes. 7 in favor with 1 abstention. And that's everything in the event agenda. Reconvene after the presidential election. Council is now dismissed. Mr. Investigator, it's ready. Are you ready? That log file, the death of Mute, just finished decrypting. Oh, there we go. Alright. I'm scared, but... Hey, we're gonna read it together. Don't worry, Mute. We're gonna read it together. I want to know what happened, too. We're just gonna disable, go to sleep. Good night. Sorry. Lol. That'd be kind of rude.